Welcome everyone to another AFC Under the Microscope, where we talk about COVID-19 out in Asia. I have with me today Akil Baldwin, Regional Attaché with Homeland Security Investigations at the U.S. Consulate. He covers Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Good morning, Akil. Welcome to our short series.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Doing well. You've been working on a variety of things in preparedness and readiness. Can you tell our listeners what's happening with the threats in and around Asia with COVID-19?
Sure. Again, thank you so much for having me. Before I get into a lot of the threats with COVID-19, I want to talk a little bit about Homeland Security Investigations and about what we do and what our mission is. We are the investigative arm of the Department of Homeland Security, and our mission is to investigate criminal organizations and transnational threats that may pose a threat to legitimate trade, travel, and finance. With our authorities and what we investigate, we enforce over 400 U.S. statutes that are related to border security, homeland security, and public safety. We have about 200 offices in the United States and 70 offices globally. So as you can see, we're well positioned to combat these threats. With regards to what we investigate and some of the threats, it does vary by region, but some of the priorities agency-wide are obviously financial investigations, because a lot of these organizations are motivated by making money. So money laundering, obviously narcotics and non-narcotics related is a big priority for us. Counterproliferation investigations is something that is very important to us as well, as it's a national security threat where you have a lot of procurement networks and also organizations and individuals that are trying to acquire sensitive technologies to get out of the United States and into their countries. Human smuggling and trafficking, art crimes. It's just a little bit of what we do. As far as here in the region, like you mentioned, I cover Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Priorities for us here are financial investigations, narcotics investigations, because we are starting to see a push with precursor chemicals being smuggled into the Western Hemisphere and used to make fentanyl, which is then smuggled into the United States. So that's something that's really important to us. And also, as I mentioned earlier, counterproliferation investigations, sensitive technologies. When you have a region in Asia, there's a lot of transit points where these organizations are looking to take advantage of that to transship sensitive items to different countries. Wildlife trafficking obviously is something that is really big into the region, again, because Asia is a transit hub for these types of these activities. And other things that we do come across, again, visa fraud, human smuggling, those are some of the threats. And then child sex tourism as well, cybercrime. Those are some of the things that we are seeing in this region.
Gotcha.
As it relates to COVID-19, COVID-19 problem is a pandemic, and of course, a lot of these organizations and individuals out there, they are trying to take advantage of this. And some of the things that we are seeing, traditional intellectual property rights violations, which is another thing that we investigate. We're seeing a lot of individuals attempting to procure counterfeit pharmaceuticals unknowingly sometimes. We have individuals attempting to purchase test kits. We've come across investigations now where individuals are attempting to procure vaccines or some type of cure for COVID-19, which we know doesn't exist, but these organizations are thriving off of this and taking advantage of the public to try and do this. Online schemes are becoming a bigger problem now. Charity solicitations. We, as you know, in the United States, we recently had approved for relief checks to help out the American public. So there are a lot of scams that are associated with those as well. And as a result of this, HSI has initiated Operation Stolen Promises. And this initiative is geared towards targeting these individuals and organizations that are involved in these fraud and schemes related to to COVID-19. We are working closely with our partners, our federal government partners, as well as the private sector and our foreign counterparts to identify these individuals and organizations that are involved with this. When it comes to stolen promises, it is a big approach because we obviously want to work with our host government as well as our federal law enforcement partners, but it's very important to also get the word out there to our private sector partners, just to talk about the importance of these COVID-19 fraud schemes, because you are also the front lines as to what we can do to combat this problem. If you are seeing these things, or if you are seeing some of these certain trends, it's very important to know that we have this initiative out there.
What kind of hotspots are you seeing just in Asia alone?
So as far as some of the hotspots, as I mentioned, counterfeit, prohibited, merchandise. It could be pharmaceuticals. It could be test kits. We're seeing a lot of that because a lot of it's coming out of mainland China, obviously, and it's transiting through here, Hong Kong, into the United States. That's a big one, and obviously those are IPR violations. And I want to make something clear too, just because they all might not be counterfeit, but they're also individuals that may misrepresent or they may be trying to send unapproved test kits. That's also can be a violation of law. And again, these organizations do know that, and they are basically trying to make money off of this pandemic and take advantage of the public. Online fraud is, again, another one that we're seeing heightened. The solicitations, people may be purporting to be part of the Red Cross or other organizations to seek donations. Those are a lot of things that we're starting to see with a lot of these red flags, and there are a lot of these red flags. It's a lot of it is just general. Sometimes if it's too good to be true, believe your instincts. There are if you get emails that don't seem to be normal or seem to be questionable, that's a big red flag. Again, there's not a cure for COVID-19. So if you're starting to see advertisements about cures or vaccines for COVID-19, that is something to really look out for, because there isn't one. I'm trying to think. Government agencies, again, in the United States, it ends in GOV. So if you're receiving something from the IRS and it's with a Yahoo.com account, then that's a telltale sign that it may be associated with fraud. Solicitations, individuals claiming to be part of the Red Cross, or individuals or emails, scams related to relief or foreclosure help. Those are things to really pay attention to and look into. And if you do come across this as a part of stolen promises, we do have an email address, and it's called. I'll read it off to you. It's COVID-19 fraud at dhs.gov, and I'll repeat it again: COVID-19 fraud at dhs.com. And if anyone comes across any of these sorts of red flags, by all means, please send an email in and let us know.
Excellent. Well, I think that'll do it. It's great talking to you, updating on kind of the COVID frauds, a variety of things happening, the hotspots here in Asia, particularly Hong Kong, as well as the red flags. Thank you so much, Akil, and we'll probably be seeing each other soon.
All right, thank you too.